Australia's 2026 federal budget, half-price petrol vibes, big security spend, and what it really means for you. Welcome back to the channel, where we turn boring budget PDFs into something you actually want to watch. Today, we're pumping into the fuel supply security section of the 2026-27 federal budget. You know, that bit where the global oil shocks from the Middle East make your weekly servo visit feel like a mortgage payment. We're talking temporary fuel excise cuts for the cost of living relief, massive millions on security, who are the winners, losers, your future, and whether the government's actually being fair about it all. Keeping it real, lighthearted, and no BS truthfully. Let's fill it up. Right. The big immediate hit for your wallet. The government's delivered a $2.9 billion package to more than halve the fuel excise and slashed the heavy vehicle road use charges to zero for 3 months from the 1st of April 2026. Petrol and diesel excise dropped from 52.6 cents down to 20.6 cents per litre. That means roughly 26 cents per litre at the pump. For the average punter such as myself, filling a 40-litre tank once a week, that's around about $14 saved per fill and about $170 over the next 3 months. It's not life-changing, but it's enough for an extra coffee run or two. But that's the short-term band-aid. $14.8 billion strengthening Australia fuel resilience package. They've already secured over 1 billion litres of fuel, a new $7.5 billion fuel and fertilisation security facility, getting more diesel and jet fuel shipped in, building a $3.2 billion Australian fuel security reserve, holding around about 1 billion litres as a national buffer. They're boosting minimum stock holdings so Australia goes from vulnerable to having about 50 days of diesel and jet fuel reserves, protecting the last 2 refineries, feasible studies for more domestic refinery, and a national cooperation plan with the states. Plus, long-term stuff, pushing more rail and sea freight, electric vehicle incentives, home batteries, solar, and even a 20% domestic gas reservation starting in 2027. Basically, they're trying to stop Australia from running on empty when the world gets spicy. Winners and losers. Winners. Let's give them a big cheer. Who are they? Well, everyday drivers, commuters, families, tradies. That 26% drop helps with the cost of living squeeze right now. Truckies, farmers, and logistics, heavy vehicle charges to zero equals lower freight costs, which should help keep groceries and good prices from exploding. Small businesses and manufacturers, interest-free loans to handle cash flow during shocks. Future Aussies, bigger reserves, more domestic production focus on EV push means we're less vulnerable to every overseas drama. Essential services, planes, trains, and emergency stuff get priority buffers. Losers. Yeah, there's always a flip side. The bottom line, this is billions in foregone revenue, money that could have gone to schools, hospital, or bigger tax cuts. Environmentally conscious folks, temporary fuel subsidy basically encourages more driving and burning petrol short term. Taxpayers' long-term $14.8 billion is serious coin. If global prices stay high, we're spending big to build reserves that might just sit there. People wanting permanent relief, this excise cut ends in June 30th. Prices bounce back after, no extension confirmed yet. What it means for the future of Australians. So, big picture for Australia's future. On the upside, we're getting smarter about not being totally dependent on imported fuel. 50 days of reserves is a solid buffer against wars, disasters, or tanker troubles. More domestic refinery ideas, gas reservation, cleaner fuels, and EV incentives could slowly reduce our vulnerability to global oil shocks. That means more stable prices long term, stronger supply chains for food and goods, and potentially lower costs for businesses that get passed on to you. The downside, it's expensive insurance. We're still heavily tied to fossils while building renewables. If the transition drags, we're exposed. Short-term relief is nice, but it doesn't fix the underlying issues like insufficient refinery capacity or over-reliance on imports. Overall, it's a responsibility reaction to a real crisis, but it's better than doing nothing. But it's playing defence more than scoring goals on energy independence. Is the government doing everything for fairness? Now, the fairness question, are they doing everything possible to make this fair? Well, I think that they're trying. Target relief on fuel users, protecting jobs in transportation, and building national resilience, instead of just throwing cash at everyone. Coordinating with the states, watching prices by the ACCC, and helping farmers with fertilisation security. I think that's decent. But truthfully, not everything. And why not? Their excise cut was temporary, great for April and June. But what about when bills still hurt? It's a blunt tool because it benefits heavy drivers and big vehicles more than light commuters or non-drivers. Lower income households without cars get zero help from this. Billions are spent on security, while some critics say direct cost of living payments to the poorest would be fairer and less inflationary. Long-term measures like gas reservation and EVs are good, but take years to kick in. So currently the pain is now. Politics plays a role, election year vibes, balancing budget, avoiding bigger deficits. Now, governments can't wave a magic wand or fix global prices. This mix of short-term relief plus long-term stockpiling is pragmatic, but it leaves some feeling the help is uneven and not bold enough on speeding up alternatives. Well, there it is, team. The 2026 fuel budget explained without the jargon. Immediate savings at the pump, serious money on security for the future, winners mostly on the road, some losers in the budget books. Cautiously optimistic future if they deliver on reserves and renewables. Fear? I would say mostly, but could be sharper on helping those doing it toughest. What do you reckon? Feeling the servo savings? Nah? Drop it in the comments. Smash like if you learned something. Subscribe for more budget roasts. Stay safe out there, drive carefully, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!